Hi everyone, Roy Shepard here, and today we're gonna talk about if you're in a bugging out or bugging in, your security in your home base or your compound is the most important. If you neglect that, you're open to unexpected attacks. So, would you know how to fortify your location? Let's find out. In any SHTF situations, our first priority is shelter, to fortify our location. Before getting water or food that we can survive without water or food for days, we have to have our location fortified. So in case we're selecting to stay in one location longer than a few days, we have to put some effort into fortifying it. Now we're gonna go over things we have to do in order of priority. But first, let's make sure to understand the difference between soft cover and hard cover. Soft cover, like camouflage nets or blinders, are fantastic to obscure visual line of sight. Even though it's much faster to construct, it will not give you any physical protection. But then again, if they can't see you, they will not know to attack you. Hard cover, on the other hand, is anything solid enough and strong enough to stop any attacks, any projectiles or physical attacks, like a concrete wall, for example. One of the best makeshift hard covers are sandbags. We'll talk about them soon in this video. They take a bit longer to construct, but they are more permanent and more secure. So what should we do first? What is our first order of priority in case we're bugging in or bugging out in our location? So first, we have to prepare all the soft covers ready, so nobody would see the light coming from inside of the house. Use either heavy blinders or opaque curtains would work great. Cardboard boxes or plank woods would work perfectly on all the windows. Other than that, we have to have a solid door. Having a solid door is very important for our main entrance. It needs to be made of thick wood or metal, which is preferable, and we can secure it further with a horizontal bar lock. Just have two holders on the sides and enough space for the bar to come in. Other than that, we have to set up an escape route. This is our third priority after solid door and obscuring the windows. And an escape route should be, if we're in an apartment building, it should be in setting up a rope ladder in one of the inner windows away from the main door. Set up a rope ladder so you can climb out and escape quickly in case it's needed. If it's a ground house or you have a basement, make sure to have a trap door or a hidden door leading to the outside, and you can plant some bushes to give you some soft cover when you're exiting that escape route. Also, as an advanced tip, this could be used as a quick alternative way to get into the house in case you need to. Now, if we have a large team and we want to build a compound that will be secure, we have to upgrade our security almost to military grade. So here are a few things we can do to upgrade our security. First, we have to reinforce the windows and the walls with sandbags. Sandbags is our first thing we can do. We take either burlap sacks or hemp sacks or any other sacks. Literally, we fill them up with sand or with any earth inside of it, and basically we can create solid hardcover walls with windows or whatever we need to fortify our location. Second, we have to build some sort of a fence. The quickest fence we can make is sticking up poles in various distances from one another, and having some wire tied around these poles along the perimeter. We can have either 2 or 3 lines of wire. This will stop any predators or even slow down any people who are trying to get into the compound. An upgrade version of that is if we have long wooden poles, we can stick them into the ground. They need to be about 6 to 8 foot long, and they should be sharpened at the top. This would be a lot more secure in the long run. An upgraded version of that is if you can take metal poles and solder them together with a metal torch, set them up also with spike at the top. And the most upgraded version of that is obviously having a concrete or a stone wall with around the perimeter, also 6 to 8 feet tall with the spikes at the top. Next, we can create wood spike barricade, which is basically spikes of wood in a sort of an X formation that we can place on the grounds around our perimeter, and that will stop any vehicle short of armored vehicles or any people or animals who are trying to climb over that barricade. It's really quick to create. We take large pole woods, we stick them together with a wire or paracord to a central log, and then we create some sort of X's and stick them into the ground. Now the next thing, it will upgrade our compound into military grade, and these are guard posts. We can set up guard posts, or even better than that, guard towers around the perimeter. What we need to take into account is have at least one guard post at the gate, and at least in guard posts around the perimeter, that any one guard post has to have visual range to see at least 2 other guard posts. That's the longest distance that you can make, that you can see them clearly from one another. We can set up fortification for the guard post with sandbags, or even set something more permanent with metal or concrete walls. The sandbags should be at least chest high, which is proper height that you can duck behind, and also use it as rest for your long-range rifles. Also, an upgraded version of that is have at least one higher tower in the center of the compound for a sniper overwatch that can view the entire perimeter, and with a long-range rifle like a sniper rifle, they can guard the entire perimeter from that post. Also, it's a smart thing to add. It's a little bonus, some sort of a warning system like a bell or something noisy that you can make to give alert to the rest of the company in case of that something happens. The last thing that you can do to even upgrade your security further is taken from the Roman Empire, actually, which is the military ditch. The military ditch is basically you dig down a ditch about 6 foot down into the ground in a V shape, and then all the earth that you take out of there, you place on a little hill outside of that ditch. So actually you have a hill and then a ditch. This is so effective that tanks cannot go through it. It is very, very effective, and it kept the Roman fortifications. Basically, they were able to conquer the entire known world with these type of fortifications. Other than that, in the gate we can create hedgehogs, which are like 3 spike metals or 3 logs tied together into some sort of a star, and place them in a zigzag formation, making any vehicle who tries to get into the compound slow down and go into a zigzag, opening their soft sides, their sides basically, for attacks in case they're trying to penetrate the compound. And if there is a large force trying to breach the compound, they will have to go and funnel through that, which would make it very, very easy to take care of. Now, the guard post you need to place a guard post in the front and another guard post a little bit farther back that will cover the front post, which is the most effective way to guard the entrance of the compound. The last thing that we can do to upgrade our security is set up traps. Now, traps are illegal in normal times, so take that into account. Only to use traps in case of a WROL situation. So, proceed at your own risk, so to speak. Important thing to note, traps would slow down your attacker or your infiltrators in two ways. One, physically with the trap itself, and second, psychologically, since after the first trap they will start scanning the ground more thoroughly, so it will slow them down completely, and you can actually attack them much easier when they're looking for traps on the ground. So first, the simplest trap that we can make is the tripwire trap. Tripwire trap is simply a wire that you place on the ground between two poles on ankle level. If anyone doesn't see that, they can hit and trip over it, falling down on the ground. You can also be a bit more effective if you connect that into some sort of an active trap, like a booby trap, for example, like having the wire connect to the pin of a grenade or something like that. But that's for extreme measures only, obviously. Second is a very simple mine that you can create. We take a PVC tube, which is a bit shorter than a round. Could be a regular 556, 762 rounds, doesn't really matter. It needs to be a bit shorter than the round itself and has the bottom of it closed up with a little nail at the bottom. You place the cartridge inside of that little tube and use it as a makeshift mine. You place it on the ground. You can use a buckshot, a 12 gauge, you can use a regular rifle cartridge or anything like that. You place them on the ground with only the tip over the ground level, and when someone steps on it, the pressure would take the nail into the primer and the bullet would shoot up. That will basically obliterate their leg and they will be completely disabled. The last trap that we're going to talk about is one of the oldest traps in the book. It's called the spike trap or the punji trap. It was used back in the caveman days to hunt and trap animals. What we do is create a hole in the ground and have some spikes at the bottom of it. Then we cover the top with some makeshift vegetation or some sort of a carpet, and if someone steps over it, they drop down into the hole, and the speed of the drop will pierce their leg with the spikes. This will disable anyone trying to enter the house. Now you can make small traps about a foot deep. This will disable the movement of someone, or you can make one 6 feet down and that will trap them completely, but that obviously takes a lot more time. There are plenty of other traps, but I wanted to keep this short and condensed and just give you the simplest three types of traps that you can make in a makeshift way in a survival situation. To sum up, shelter is our first priority, and fortifying it is super important for the safety of your team, to give them a good night's sleep, which is super important for a survival situation. Now, it's really important, according to the materials that you have, the time that you have, and the manpower that you have, to go from the priority that we set up, because it's much better to have a completely constructed soft cover system than a partially constructed anything else. If you have more time and more manpower, obviously you can upgrade your security as you go along. But first, go according to priorities and secure your main door, cover your windows and entrances. Did you ever construct fortification for a home base or a compound? Tell us your story. Tell us what you did and how you did it. Leave a comment below. I love getting feedback from you and I read each and every one of your messages. If you like this video and you find it useful, please like, share and subscribe. Help us spread the word. Coming up, the Israeli protocol for carrying a firearm is do not have a round in your chamber at any time, unless you're ready to start using the firearm. The American protocol is load a cartridge right when you put it into your holster. So in the next video, we're going to test these two methods and see the differences and see which one is better. I can't wait to share all of this with you. So until then, stay safe.